we'll take all the question once. Questions, you might have another something like this again. I guess we have a video here, we might just take out that. So any other person, please? Any other question? Okay, we'll back to the judge.
Let me answer that for the lawyer and those who are not into the sciences. Now, with ICT can also help you. Now let's take the lawyer for example. You finish law school, you're not a lawyer, practicing, you have your law firm. How can ICT come in? Now you go for various cases. Like you go to court, the causes you have clients that you work with. Now, how does ICT help you? There are applications. Let's take YouTube for example. You as a lawyer, there's this particular area you specialize in. That you're a private lawyer, a company lawyer. Now let's take an example, you're a company lawyer. Now you could have a channel on YouTube where you advise companies based on issues that you've handled, cases you have handled. You now come on YouTube, advise this company. You have a channel where you just come. You're not handling any case, you just come, you have in front of your camera, and you now start advising companies, advising clients after that. Right? If you have situations like this is what you should do. And you put it on the web. Now you start earning money for that video you're putting online. You're not into ICT, you're a lawyer. All you do is you get a good camera. You put the camera in front of you, get into your room, in your office, and start making these videos. Start a series where you all series, all the movies you watch, where season 1, season 2, season 3. You're taking different cases, different case studies. You do all these things. This is something you have studied, you're not into ICT. You studied law, different cases you have handled, different ideas that you've gotten from what you've studied. You put them together into segments and put them online. People watch them, and as they watch, they pay you. For those video clips you're putting online, then ICT has thereby helped you in that particular area or that field that you are studying. I don't know if I've answered your question. So that applies to every other case. We are not an ICT person. We are not an engineer. We are not even, you don't know much about ICT. All you know is you've gone into school, you've graduated, you're doing something that is far different from science, but ICT is there to help you. All you have to do is the internet is there. How does ICT, okay, what role does ICT play in this particular field of my study? You get results, you look at which is applicable to my own scenario, my own environment. Where I'm located, how can I apply this? You can apply it as ICT is there for you. Thank you.
To add to what he has said, I told you earlier that ICT is all about being able to communicate information effectively to the right group of people. You are a lawyer, you are an actress, you are not a science student, and you want to know how ICT can come to play in your profession. Apart from the fact that you have YouTube, which is a form of communication, it helps you to, of course, learn more about your field. Let's use law as an example. When you become a lawyer or while you're reading law, there are so many famous cases that, of course, can be found on the internet. You could read up on these cases, and these cases, of course, increase your knowledge or help you in learning. This is just not, of course, limited to law. Other professions also. That's why I told you that now that you're still young and you have the opportunity to grab information quickly, make good use of your phones. Get as much information as possible, read as wide as possible. We have Wikipedia, type in law. Before you know it, other references will come up, and then you'll be able to read and learn new terms and learn about things you never thought existed. And before you know it, you'll probably even be able to understand what area you should actually want to specialize in. And then the lady who said, what about those who are extremely shy and of course have things to communicate? The good thing about information is that there are various avenues by which you can communicate. You don't have to be on radio, you don't have to be on television, you can write. Most people who are shy know how to write very, very well. So you could put up a blog. All you need for a blog is, of course, internet access. Once you write, you upload it. I don't know how many of you here know about Niger. Niger is a very popular site, and they have places where, of course, you have articles. There's a writer of Niger known as Atoke. Atoke is a very shy person, and she's camera shy because she had problems with her weight. She's a big person, so she felt she wasn't good enough to have pictures all over the internet. But she writes very good pieces, and due to the pieces that she has written, she has won international prizes. I look forward to reading her articles on Niger. You have quotes here. Try and Google Niger. Niger, you see Atoke Morning Banter. She writes beautiful pieces. So for those of you who feel I can't talk on radio, I can't even speak in public, I start to shiver, there's no problem. Write on paper, type on your laptop, type on your phone, upload your articles. You can still have your voice heard. It doesn't just have to be, of course, physical. You can still say something and make an impact in the world by your pen. Remember, the pen is mightier than the sword. And then the last thing I'll talk about is the notion, of course, the problem most girls face, whereby you want to read a particular course, but our parents, of course, who always feel they know everything, would want you to read a particular course. No, you must be a doctor, no, you must be an accountant, no, you must be this. It's a very big problem or a very big challenge that a lot of us face. I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little bit, I'm going to be up a little bit. For northern girls especially, it's not a problem southerners face so much. But for northerners, a lot of us face that problem. Your parents might not even be of the opinion that you should further your education beyond a certain level. Sometimes you have to struggle very much to get to a particular level or even to further your education. So if you probably belong to a household that probably believes that sending a girl child especially to school to a certain extent is a waste of time, then of course you might have a little problem on your hands. Sometimes talking to your parents might not particularly, be a good situation. I had such a problem when I was in secondary school. My father was of the opinion that I was to read a certain course. He felt I should read medicine. But I was never interested in medicine. I wanted to do something in an engineering line. But somehow, after a lot of convincing and probably a little bit of pig-headedness on my part, I'm not saying you should, of course, get violence. Sometimes talking might not help. You might have to be a little bit stubborn, stand your ground. You don't need to be rude, please. They're your parents, they love you, and of course, they want what is best for you, and they think what they know is best for you. So you need to handle this case a little bit delicately. Sometimes you might have to involve probably family members to talk to them on your behalf. Sometimes your teachers might come in, and sometimes you're lucky you might not have to get so far. And then sometimes it ends up with you having to stand your ground and say, Daddy or Mommy, I love you very much, but this is what I want to do, and I've made up my mind about it. It's about talking to them politely and using the right words. And I hope none of you here have to face that kind of challenge, because it can be quite difficult and quite frustrating. But of course, if you want to do something, I think it's for you to know what exactly you want to do, a lot about that field, and then explain to your parents how much doing what you want to do will make you happy and of course have an impact in your society. And I'm sure at the end of the day, your parents will of course come to see things your way.
We have a question. I'm going to say something. Apart from the father, she was saying that you talk to your parents and everything. There's something I use that happens very well. When you have a child, we as parents, most times, we give it as this child. You'll be able to say the focus of this child. You have a child, maybe a female child, you have a from small, you can actually say, okay, this child, what does she like doing? This is my daughter, and she likes reading, she likes playing computer, she likes doing. You know, parents have a way of looking at it that way and say, okay, but it's not just about telling them, Daddy, I want to become a doctor. When your father knows that yourself, he usually forces you to even read for your book, to be able to pass. Or you come up with your result and you see that you're not doing well in your sciences and everything. For you to be able to say, okay, I want to do something, that means you are very strong in that. Let your parents see the ability in you. You have to be able to show that I can do this. It's not just about saying it. We all can still want to become a doctor. Well, I want to become a doctor, but I'm not good in biology, I'm not good in this, and I'm not putting an effort, I'm not making time for it. How do you expect your parents to accept that? No parent will want to just, okay, have their money out there and this child is not doing it. You have to do something that you know, in this you can make it, you can make it. So you yourself, it's not about what you do. When your parents see how committed you are, how dedicated you are to those things that you want to achieve, you don't even have to talk much. Because the world is already seeing you that this child is good at this. She likes reading, she likes the science. She comes up with this kind of result. She reads the book. It's obvious. So most of the time, it's not just about saying and being rebellious about it. Because sometimes, actually, and it's actually true. Sometimes parents don't want to best for their children. It's not because they just want to push you to do this particular stuff, but it's because of the ability they have seen in you. So you should try and say, I want to become this, work towards it, let it be seen in you that this child can actually do it. This is like saying you want to be determined. There are children today, they say, today I want to become a doctor, tomorrow they are this, today they want to become. You be determined, let them see it in you that this child, a child that wants to let one of my colleagues has a son. See, he has two sons, but the younger one, it's so obvious. The one will be that boy will say, hi, this boy is so intelligent. Because if you keep your phone for that, it shows when you log on in your phone, you will pick out those applications and start working on it. If you say something is not working, stop playing with life, and stop playing with this, stop playing with that. Or you can see that all those little things that when you got in, and it goes very, very well. It's from school. If you are a girl now, or say go and do for me and you're already complaining and say, okay, you want to have a restaurant, you want to have the biggest eatery, it should show in you. You want to become a fashion designer, or mommy say bend it to and back, and maybe arrange your clothes or do this and do that. So there are some things that should be seen in you. You don't have to have the extra ability but there are little things that we parents see in children and be able to say that, okay, this child actually will be able to do it. So don't neglect your parents' upbringing and training and everything, but at the same time, be able to communicate with them, not just in words, but in your own things.
Thank you very much. Please, on this note, I want to say something. If you are having a challenge in that area, and you are sure you are working hard towards becoming a you want to go to do a particular course, please get one of the teachers involved. Involve one of your teachers to talk to your parents. Sometimes we parents, out of our own ego, because we want to show off, my daughter is reading law, my daughter is reading medicine. No, we want to show off. We want to push these children to areas that are not of their interest at all. You understand? That is one side of it. But if you are sure you are working towards your dreams or the course you want to do, and your parents are not giving you the support or they are pushing you to another area, please talk to one or two of your teachers. Let them explain things to your parents. That's on that note. Now, the issue of interest is very, very important. This person standing here, I am a teacher, and I am proud to be one. I have my NCE, I have my degree, I have my master's. I have my master's from University of Lagos, and by the grace of God, I'm working towards my PhD. But the interest, by the grace of God, that interest was not quenched. The very first time I met a step, I told my cousin, she's my cousin, but I call her auntie because she's much more older. I told her that I want to be a teacher. She said, when we are arranging for you to go and read medicine, you are dreaming of becoming a teacher. I said, medicine is good. For me, what I have inside me is to become a teacher. She stood up. That was the first time. She's a graduate of IMT. She told me that for years, that for 6 years that she knew, her auntie had been a teacher for 6 years. They have never added a couple to her salary. That it was 6,000 naira that she was owing from when she was small. That was the 6,000 naira that she was still owing as at then. That how do I on this earth dream to be a teacher? Do I want to live and die a pauper? This is the greatest discouragement I have ever had in my life. The very first time that I opened my mouth to tell somebody what I want to become. All the while they are planning. She will read medicine. She will read biochemistry. I will keep quiet so I won't talk to anybody. By the time I said this, she told me this history. I kept quiet. For another year. This thing kept me down for another year. So I made move again. I took my second jab. That my first jab, I didn't check it. I took my second jab. I told another of my cousins, a male now, I said, I want to go to the school, to the university. He said, what do you want to read? I said, I want to read education. He said, what? I said, I want to read education. He said, ordinary NCT. He said, well, whatever you are reading under education, that when I finish, that 4 years, when I finish it, that they will give me ordinary NCT. I said, well, it doesn't matter now. I was taught by a teacher, so I want to become a teacher. What I'm telling you, it wasn't an easy task. That day again, he stood up and he told me all the history. Number one, he told me that people that went to read education, that they don't marry on time. That was what my cousin brother told me. My cousin sister told me that I want to remain in pauper. That for 6 years, my aunt worked as a teacher. They never paid her more than 6,000 naira. This one told me that female teachers don't marry. I said that, but I have some of my teachers now that they are married with children. He said I'm not seeing very well, that maybe they are married before they went to read education. That is another kind of discouragement. That's why I said interest matters. Now, that one is a long story on its own. But this person you are seeing here, outside all these things, at a stage, my brother told me, we are not ready to waste our money. You want to read education, you do it on your own. I'm telling you nothing. This is the story of this person standing here. You want to read education, go and do it. We are not ready to waste our money. So I did it on my own, actually, truth from the truth. I did my NCD, I had my degree, I had my master's, and I'm working up. In fact, if not that Unilag has been delaying me, I would have started my PhD program. You understand? So it's all about interest. Have it at the back of you. You don't need to rebel. What I'm saying, you don't need to rebel. I never rebelled with anybody. You understand? And I didn't fight. I didn't quarrel with anybody. But the truth still remains that if you have the interest, you will get there. If you say you want to become a lawyer and they want you to be a lawyer, there's nothing wrong in that. But if at this stage, I want you to involve the teachers. Tell one or two of your teachers to help you talk to your parents. I hope you are getting me. Remember, you must have interest. If you don't have the interest, people around you will kill that dream for you before it materializes. Thank you very much.
Why do not stand if you are standing ovation? She don't show the story of her life. Are we all tired to stand and clap for your auntie? Okay, so now you're going to stand like please, let's just analyze the out of it.
Okay, someone asked the question, that is the Google class. The name is Isabel also. Isabel also. So you can search her that.
For the person that asked about the Google class, let's say as soon as the tool will play you the video, so you watch the video of the person who actually developed it. But you need to take the answer.
Isabel also. Isabel also.
You could just Google it. You could just Google it.
Google Glass design.
Google Glass design, and your design by it. I'm sure we all know, most of us know about Google Glass. Yeah, so the designer was actually a female. So now we have your idea of Google technique actually bottom. So I guess on this note, we actually want to appreciate all our panelists and our aunties that we are here while we round up. Any last one, please?
When I started, I said, believe in yourself. I said to yourself, I can do it. You keep that up, tell yourself and say, I can do it, I can make it. in yourself. Pray very hard. You are just they will not like to behave. The point I'm not mentioning on religion or whatever. Have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself that there is nothing that you cannot achieve. There is nothing that is too much for you to do. There is nothing that those that make things are really out there. It's not like they are not special. So they work towards it. And like the teacher has said, that's not what we're talking about focus. You have to be focused, you have to be determined. Anyone who has a very strong determination, who is dedicated to his or her goal, definitely, someday, it might take some time, but definitely you will get there. So just believe in yourself, trust in yourself. I know that ICT has been a lot for you, it has taken a lot of places.
She is the lead designer at Google Glass.
You're all very beautiful ladies, and I hope that even if you get into the field of ICT, you still continue to be beautiful and become a bottom of like her. Thank you.
From Google X Group. She joined the Glass team in 2011, but the prototype was still a phone attached to a scuba mask. And she has since guided the team to iterate towards the current mirrorless design, which looks really fashionable and has, I think, been noticed by a lot of designers in the world. Prior to joining Google, Isabel worked on Fuse Project, designing a wide variety of products, ranging from new color Samsung televisions to Swarovski exhibitions and hardware for children in third world. She has also designed several furniture exhibits, which have been exhibited at Milan Furniture Fair. Isabel grew up in Sweden and was influenced early on by Scandinavian minimalist design. Her ultimate goal as a designer was to make people's lives easier and more beautiful. Sounds very familiar to Nest's mission too. And without further ado, let's start watching a video of Isabel.
Okay, so I'll engage the system. And now the card.
No, we are sorry, we just ran out of time. But I'm sure what's about that one. It's not the same one. It's not all for the project.
How did it come